Good evening, welcome, hello to one of the Wednesday night things that we do sometimes. You haven't been on over Christmas because Gary and Pete couldn't make it. I was waiting to go, but them two couldn't do it, so never mind. Tonight we've got Pete with us again.
All right, mate.
How you doing, kid?
Very good, thank you. And I got my old mate still here.
Fritz.
Fritz is still here, mate, yeah.
God, I love that moustache. Looks like it's got a bit bigger, has it?
No, he's got Gazzy's hat on.
Ah, right. Well, Gaz isn't with us tonight. He's had a bit of a gender thing.
Really?
Yeah, he's well, Christine, are you there?
Hello. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
You don't have to put the voice. Don't put the voice on for fuck's sake, all right? You can be Christine from now on, but don't put that voice on.
Okay. It's just a New Year's resolution. I just thought I'd try it for a month,
Yeah, you can identify as whatever you want, mate. We've got no problem.
All right. Cheers.
Right.
Thank you.
We've had a bit of a mad week, haven't we, really?
Just a bit.
Well, since we last spoke, everything's gone mad.
All for the better, I reckon, mate.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't know how Rooney got away with it, to be honest, do you? I mean, I'm being honest now, like, towards the end, I mean, we supported him still all the way, and I did, I'm sure you two did, but, it comes a point when you have to think, fucking hell, like, when are we going to stop this?
Well, that was it, it's not, Leeds that, it was the end, wasn't it? It was the end.
I think so. It come to its natural termination, like your manhood.
Well, yeah, it's only temporary. I'm only trying it out.
All right. What did you think of it all, Pete? Not Gazzy's manhood, but
well, the positivity that's come out of Mowbray and the words that he said, that little press conference, is everything that we didn't get off Mr. Root. I mean, everyone does a job different, don't they? You know what I mean? The proof of the pudding and all that. But it's almost like we got the feel-good factor back again now.
And I think, like, I was trying to explain it the other day. In fact, it was on one of Jamie Monk's podcasts. What's it called? Boy in Blue.
Boy in Blue.
I did a thing with Jamie the other day on his podcast, and I think I was trying to explain it, and it's hard to explain. But when Wayne Rooney was there, everything looked a bit loose around the edges, like nothing was compact. It didn't seem to be cohesive, like nothing did. But suddenly you got somebody like Moggy coming in, ain't you? And suddenly everything is sort of ordered. You've even got O'Shea and Cole involved in the training, and they're there. And you've seen them. Did you watch the match on Saturday?
I did, yeah.
Did you see how included that? They were like, Ashley Cole was I was going to say it was in Moggy's box, but he was in the what's it box, and he was in his ear, and blah blah blah,
Animated.
What do you say, Pete?
I mean, obviously, the Mowbray thing was obviously done all behind the scenes before the game Saturday anyway, wasn't it? Sort of like the worst kept secret ever. Do you think all of a sudden him and Cole getting involved in getting in Spooner's ear and whatever was a bit of an audition, and it's almost like spoke a bit that, well, perhaps him and the Rooney thing wasn't all it should have been, or
I mean, Spooner might well have just said, like, help me out here, lads. I need your help. Give me a bit of advice.
I think he
might well have, and that's a good thing, isn't it? Including people,
But were them pair?
It is Gary. Look now, because he's got his new bleeding identity. He wants to include everyone.
Well, of course.
Come on, Pete. Send that out to Christine, Pete. Carry on for a bit.
Yeah, were they Rooney's appointments as such? Did he say, I want Cole and an O'Shea in as my number 1 and 2 sort of thing? Is that the way it worked? Or
That's a really good question, that is, because I've got to be honest with you, I don't know. I assume they were, but it could be that they were just big names again, you know.
well,
I can't see him bringing 2 coaches in without clearing it with the gaffer first, you know. I couldn't see him bringing them in unless he was happy. But it's funny how they didn't leave, you know. And I know they're paying them, so they've probably got it, you know, why not keep them kind of thing. But it's just weird that they stayed, because usually when a new boss comes in, and I first heard about this on Thursday evening from a friend of mine who told me that it was going to happen, that Moggy was going to sign on Friday morning at 11 o'clock. Now, whether or not that actually happened, I don't know. But then I had another message on Friday saying this person had just spoken to Tony Mowbray, apparently, and he said, he'd had an interview, he wanted the job, and if he offered it him, he would have it. That's the 2 bits of information I got, and they're people I know really well. So I went for it on Facebook, and I just put it out there. It's going to happen, like, you know. And I mean, lucky for us, it did. But I mean, you know, you never really know until it happens. But I think this has been lined up probably for the best part of a week. Those negotiations don't happen in seconds, you know. They don't happen overnight. So something's obviously gone on. And I think when Spooner's come in, he's had the support of Cole. You don't know what's happened here. Perhaps Cook has approached Cole and said to him, you know, like, we got a new boss coming in, right? In the meantime, we got Stevie Spooner over the way, wanting to help him, right? You're under contract. If you can work with Moggy when he comes in, then do it. You know, you and John O'Shea, you've got a job if you want it, right? Rooney's not going anywhere. It's not like to get another job. Here's a coaching job for you. You got Mike Taylor with you. You got Venus and Mowbray, who are 2 really experienced, nice blokes who know the game inside out. What better of a way to learn than being a coach under those 2, you know?
Yeah. Good shout.
You know, sort of like Mowbray's set up at Sunderland there. So he's got some of the old Blue, the ex-Blues staff there, didn't he?
Well, it's Christian Speakman that got rid of him.
Yeah.
Because Christian Speakman was always angling after the director of football's job. And he went there. He went to Sunderland, and then he took Joe Bellingham. We know about that. You know? But then there was a little bit of turmoil within Sunderland, and Christian Speakman went for the director of football job, and he got it. And when he got it, he dismissed Mowbray, and he said they wanted to go in a different direction. So Tony Mowbray effectively did nothing wrong. But if you speak to any Sunderland supporters, or read what they say on the internet, or listen to any of their vlogs and that, all of them, I haven't heard one say a bad word about him. You know, in fact, there's been a load of news on the internet saying, "Good luck, Birmingham City." You know, you got our manager kind of thing. You know.
I remember when he was at the Albion, I really didn't like him at all. I didn't like him at all.
It wouldn't have been my choice, you know.
No, he wouldn't have been. But you know, when you really look at it, there weren't really any better candidates than him. To be fair,
Did you know much about him, Pete, before we got him?
Sorry,
I was just asking Pete if he knew anything about him before we got him.
No, nothing at all. I just follow my messiah called Mr. Trainer.
What I mean is, did you know much about his background and?
I only about him being at Albion and being a bit of a nearly man at Blackburn and doing a great job at Sunderland, getting them in the playoffs and whatever. He tries to play nice football, and you know, I'm more than happy with him coming, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I am. But it's one of those names, isn't it? Mowbray. It's a bit like Warnock, isn't it? You know, you get to hear the names, and they seem to have been around forever, you know. And they have been like 20 odd years or whatever. But I don't really know a lot about him. But when I heard he was coming, I researched him. And I'll tell you something, he's got a fucking great record. Like, you know, his win percentage is like 43% or something, you know.
He's got a really good track record, but what seems to happen, I mean, apart from what happened at Sunderland, which I wasn't really aware of, he seems to drop away. You know, he has a couple of good seasons and everything's sort of rosy, and then he may have run out of ideas, I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of things can happen that time, contracts, etc., players leaving, players coming, blah, 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 blah. But he seems to have like a big sort of peak, and then he drops away, it seems.
I think every job's, you know, but for anyone in a job, I think it's a bit like that. You know, it's like
yeah. But you reach the plateau, then you need to kick on, and he doesn't seem to be able to kick on. But I mean, that's in the future for us. I think from what he's actually said is like, I'm looking forward to working with these fantastic players, giving them their confidence back, which is clearly what they need. You know, I think we will see a good manager bounce this time, which is
that's exactly. I was saying that actually to someone today. But I was thinking like there's a few little things that stuck in my mind when I heard him speaking. One of them was, well, a few bits of information and hearing him speak. When he did his interview, he spoke. Well, I don't know if it was the interview or if it was a statement he released, and he kept speaking about the front foot. We're going to play front foot football. Now that is a Gary Cook term.
Yeah.
Bird, Wayne, Rooney talk about it.
Yeah.
And I was just hoping against hope that I haven't been in his ear going on about this front foot football, you know, because he did seem to focus on it quite a lot. You know, so I was thinking that was the only minus I took from his. Not that it would be a bad thing if he did, you know, if he does that, but I just don't want him to be influenced too much by Gary Cook, because Gary Cook isn't a football manager, you know, and he has to let managers do their own thing. That's what they're there for.
Well, you know, I mean, after the Rooney debacle sort of thing, I mean, what's our aims this season? It's not to get relegated, isn't it? That we was only heading one way with Rooney and all the turmoil and all the fan base
dropping like a brick.
His whole remit for me, it's more about steadying the ship, getting us away from the bottom three, and that'll do for this season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think he's experienced enough that he's not going to suddenly go all hell bent on all this front foot mad pressing stuff. That he's there to get results, and he's experienced enough, and that's the sort of route that we'll go down.
Yeah, I think so.
But I mean, even at the start of the season, you know, Eustace in place, new people taken over. Most of the common sort of feeling was, this is a season of consolidation. Top 10 will do us, you know, mid-table.
Yeah.
You know, it's only really after Eustace going and Rooney coming in, everyone, you know, followed the hype really and thought, this is it. We're on our way to the fucking Premier League. And it was never going to happen. So let's get back to what we expected at the beginning of the season. That is probably what we'll get, you know, and I'd be happy with that.
Absolutely.
Did you read the piece that I did in the project this morning? It wasn't that long, but it was basically saying, you know, like, this is take 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, you know. The first time we had all the fireworks, we had the stands opening, we had undefeated, we had, you know, all the new shirts and flogging all the clubber, and we had videos released of all the players. And but the only thing that was shit was the football. And at the end of the day, that's what we're there for, you know. Everything else is secondary to it. So now they've got a chance to kickstart it again with the proper, you know, like he's a much better version of any manager I can think of that we've had in the last 10 years. Going back probably to Chris Houghton, you know.
Yeah. I mean, if Mowbray fails, we're doomed. The curse must be back.
The other thing that I noticed in that to come out of him signing was the contract length, which is 2.5 years. So that takes him to the end of the 26-27 season, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So it's perfect. It
Yeah.
gives him time to either build us into a top 6 team or to get us promoted. And then they can look at it and go, right, you know, you've done your job, mate.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to him or move him upstairs and bring someone underneath him and start to bring a bit of a football foundation into the club, you know.
Yeah.
Because these 3.5, 4-year, 5-year contracts are shit. They always end up costing you money. For us to give anybody more than a fucking year's contract is mental. Because I can't remember the last time we had anyone more than a year apart from John Eustace.
Yeah. I'll tell you what needs to come out of all this, though, sort of, you know, the Rooney thing, is that us as fans, Blues fans, sort of thing, we've got to take a long, hard look at ourselves.
Definitely.
Because you know, the rights and wrongs of the Rooney appointment and everything. God, some of the shit that's come out, disgusting, really.
Fucking venomous,
toxic.
Absolutely horrible, you know. And it's like a lot of the personal abuse and that is uncalled for. You can make comments about players, and we all used to do it down the pub, I suppose, like, you know. But when it's instant like this, it ain't nice. And it don't matter how much money they earn, they're fucking people at the end of the day, you know, and they've got that's the thing, you know, and it ain't nice, is it?
Well, I've got a confession to make here. I'm going to confess my sins.
It's got a prop, I bet you.
No, I actually haven't, no. Right, so when
you're
Villa...
not going to be Christine as well, are you?
Petra.
Petra.
Right. I used to voyeur other football sites. So when Villa was doing shit, I used to go on this Heroes and Villains website.
I did all the time.
See all the bile that used to come out, like, you know, and it was fantastic. It was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. And then you got that Arsenal fan TV. I don't know if you've ever watched that anyway, but they used to have people on there that were in absolute meltdowns, and I was loving that. But I tell you what, we ain't bloody far off it.
Yeah.
With how it's been this last 15 weeks, it's been awful. Now, whether that's the social media, it's the way social media works these days and whatever, but it's absolutely hideous, some of it. It really is.
See, I think you're right. You know, I think it is social media because, but what I've not even since like Rooney's, and strangely enough, Rooney hasn't even been sacked for a week yet, has he?
No.
A week ago, I think. You know, I think it was last Wednesday or Thursday. So it seems absolutely ages ago, doesn't it? But even, you know, just the project, the BCFC project sites on Facebook, like our site, just today, there's people, you know, we never post third-party content. We don't do it because loads of groups do. It's a lazy fucking way of doing things. You know, somebody sends you a bit of clickbait shit in, you post it as news. Fucking not like, you know, we do our own stuff and we never put third-party stuff on without checking it. So if somebody comes in and posts something into our group, we take it out until someone asks us or explains what it is, you know. You wouldn't be putting stuff into people's groups anyway unless you ask them. I mean, I was explaining this to someone today. It's like they're taking a piss really. Like, we've got 9,000 people that we've worked hard for. Honest, I spend 8 hours a day sometimes running that group. And some wanker just comes along and plops a bit of content in for all 9,000 people to see. Oh, look, I've got a fucking audience here. You know what I mean? It's just rude. I didn't mean to say wanker because I don't know the person, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, it ain't the right thing to do. And then this person will say, why didn't you post it? Someone is going, yeah, you know, why didn't you? Fucking little Hitler. And then someone will go, don't you fucking call him little Hitler. This is the best on the web. No, it's fucking not. And before you know it, and all it needed was someone to use the brain and say, if I want to put something into your site, I'll just message you and say, is this okay? You know. But no, it has to turn into this massive bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
You see it all the time, don't you?
It's well, as you say, it's social media. It's the way it is now. But I'm very, very careful about what I do, and on the internet and stuff, because it's toxic. You do things catch on and people believe it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I mean, well, we
Well,
won't go down the road.
you'll be getting a lot of that if you do after your 3 months have the sex change and that.
Well,
You'll probably have those issues.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I've already grown the tits anyway. That was Christmas.
Or don't get them out. Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
You're looking for a bird?
I don't know. He just don't seem the same without his hat on anymore.
All his glasses.
I've literally just got out the shower, to be honest. You got my pajamas on.
Okay.
Yeah. They haven't got a negligee yet.
Yeah, but getting back to the social media thing then. So, whilst we're all in the confession booth and whatever, so before the project, right, how involved did you used to get in other groups or football groups or anything?
I'll tell you what made me start the project was exactly this, because I used to go into other groups, the big groups that everyone goes into. I won't name them, but you know who they are. And so I'd go in there, and it was mainly during the Lopez and Richardson takeover bid.
Yeah.
So I was very much against it, and I knew quite a few people that knew a bit of what was going on, blah blah blah. And it was just never going to happen. And if it did, we were in the shit, because I just hadn't got enough money to finance it, and then how toxic it got in the groups then. I was literally like fighting fucking 5 and 6 people at a time within the group, trying to make a point. You don't know what you're fucking on about. The proper Blues fans, Richardson's the man, I'd say he's a tire kicker. You don't know what you're fucking talking about, and blah, blah. And it got so nasty, you know. And then in the end, when it did all fall through, there's not one apology, you know what I mean? There's nothing. It just goes deadly quiet. And I thought to myself, when I seen this coming up with the Americans, I thought, you know what? I'm going to start my own group here, and I'm going to start it when they take over, and I'm going to call it the date of the takeover until they get it all signed. So the group first was called July the 13th. And then about 2 weeks later, we changed it to the project, because that's what they were calling it as well, weren't they, if you remember?
Yeah.
And they still do. So that's how it came about. But that's what happened to me, Pete. I was basically abused loads and loads, in other groups. And I'm sure people remember me, So what I decide to do now is abuse me in my own group, which is much better.
Yeah.
How about you, Gaz? What's your
No, I as you put it earlier on, I was quite voyeuristic, but never really posted much. I just watched, and I do a lot of that anyway. Sort of.
Thing is, Pete, he's only just managed to put his mic on 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm a bit more savvy than that. It's just not my equipment.
I know. Yeah. You are.
I can remember very, very early on, one of the very earliest blues things I can remember, and I'm sure it was called "Keep Right On" or something like that. Something like that, and
often partisan,
something like that.
Yeah, that was Dan Ivory. That was. Dan stopped that there, and then he's got his own little Almagier now, which is probably the best, including mine. Or it's probably if I want information, I listen to him,
Yeah. He turns up on that fat louts going in goal thing, doesn't he? I think.
I don't know. I fell out with them because I posted onto my group without asking. So I had a big fallout.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, it's amusing at times, but good source of information. But way back, I'm talking about way back.
Yeah. I think that's going back a few years. I've been in Small Heath Alliance. Small Heath Alliance is a good social media group. It's not on Facebook, but are you a member of Small Heath Alliance?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Are you, Pete?
Yeah.
If you want sensible, proper blues talk with a bit of a crack, going out, just join that. It's well worth joining. Just join the forum. Just sit back and watch loads of people do. They don't get involved, but they're very, very good on content. So most of what you read on Small Heath Alliance is real. It's not like some of the shit you hear on a lot of the groups.
It makes me laugh, though. It makes me laugh because I'm actually from Small Heath.
Yeah.
You know, I am. I was born there. Like, you know, it's mad.
Who's you born, Pete?
I was on cradle to the grave sort of thing. It used to be everything was okay until match day. You know what I mean? We had a quite a nice balance.
I remember who did cradle to the grave. Who did that?
God, I can't even
Was
remember.
it Kevin? It wasn't Kevin, was it?
Kevin, somebody.
Was Obi something to do with that?
You got sorry?
Was Obi something to do with that?
I think so. There's quite a few names that's canted over to you from there. Anyway, but I mean, like it had a nice little balance. There was enough content that they let me waffle about old stuff. Then
I love the stuff you put in. By the way, you know some of the stuff you put in is just work. It takes people back. It's great, you know, and I love the way you post it, Pete, from a different angle. You know, it's you don't take it too seriously. Where most people take, you know, like I do. To be honest, most of the stuff I post is obviously like serious because it has to be. But you know, I love how you come in on it. You know, a lot of it is very funny, and all the memories from years and years ago. I don't know how you remember it because I've got a crap memory.
Well, my memory's better about, you know, sort of like 40 years ago than 40 minutes ago. And it is what it is, isn't it? Like, I'm sure you had a dog somewhere, Steve, didn't you, earlier on?
Yeah, he's gone back to bed.
Oh, right.
Well, I'll just back up what Steve said there, Pete. It's great when you post stuff on. I always look at it like, you know, and it's good. It's as Steve said, a good angle and
right.
You know,
So it's
a little bit of wit and humour in it. It's good.
I'll have a read up on sex changes then and see what I can come up with. Yeah.
Well, you know, like I say, don't go too far into it. It's only a trial period.
Yeah,
you know.
It's just a phase, is it?
Well, no, it's a trial period. We'll just see how it goes.
You'll be all right. Don't be, you know, I mean, don't think for a minute you can have children and stuff. You've probably gone through the change by now.
I'm 63. I think I probably have.
Yeah, I think you probably have, yeah. But no, but I think you know, content's really important on all these social media groups. And seriously, like going back to that stuff with the clickbait stuff, you know, it is people just join groups just to put their clickbait on. And you know what it's like. You click here, a pop-up comes, another one comes, you can't read it, you know, it's absolute shite. And we just don't let any third party go on for no other reason than we don't want the members to be fucking bugged by it. Yeah. But they get asked you about it. Why can't we see that? Because somebody will be fucking taking the money out of your bank account in 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they get pissed off about it.
But like getting back to that cradle in the grave thing. So there's me going and doing all the old time stuff. Then you got people posting like Zulu stuff, which used to make me laugh really, because I mean, for all Birmingham's a big town, it's a small town, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. We were all at an age where you knew who was doing what, and there's people saying that they were doing things, and no, you weren't. No.
Yeah.
So
there were so many people at Main Road that day, Pete.
I know, yeah, and then there's me with the Coronation Street bird. I don't know. Yeah, and Remy Moses, his missus, and now Elsie Tanner on the night. Yeah, flipping hell.
And then, of course, moving on to younger birds, Jimmy Cranky.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but that flipping her other half's flipping hard work.
Mr. Cranky.
Oh, flipping well named, I tell you.
I don't think it's his real name. I don't know.
Right. We digress. So we've gone through the, oh yeah, I was a Zulu, I was doing that sort of thing. So then you come to the match day thing, and match days are the worst thing. Like, you know, the knee jerk reaction, sort of like, you know, 1 minute so and so shit, and then he scored a goal. Oh yeah, he's great and brilliant. People, you know, change. I used to hate it, and I used to keep away from match day.
Saturday night's the worst one.
Yeah,
On
absolutely.
social media.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that gets me about it, how it's all changed really, is, you know, you say, did you go to the match on? Did you go to the match on Saturday? Like, this is Monday at work. Yeah, I was there. Like, you know, wasn't that a great goal? What do you think of that? Isn't it? Move on to today. It's like, do you go to the match on Saturday? Yeah, we need to spend more money. 50 million quid for, you know, all they talk about is money. They never sort of thought, did you see that? The bend in that ball? Did you see that go in the corner? You know, all that's sort of gone. You know, it's like, you know, you used to talk about the players and their skills. Now they talk about what they're worth. You know, it's true though. I mean, you know, that's the way it is now.
I hate it. I really do.
And the thing is, 90% of them have never played football, you know.
Nah, you know, well, I don't know.
And
just an old bird now.
My big falling out with them, really, which is why you ended up with me, Steve, was around the when Trevor had passed away, and all the flowers and everything that was getting put up there, and I'd gone up and whatever. So did anyone who could get up there, sort of, you know, and it was lovely to see. But there was people posting pictures. Oh, we're Blues, ain't we? With pictures of all the flowers for Trevor and everything in the background, and it made me practically physically sick. I mean,
Bad taste, isn't it?
How many times have you been to a funeral and took a selfie of the flowers? Bright lad he was, you know. But look at me with all the flowers that were sent for somebody else. Oh, you know, sorry that that hurt me somewhat. So
it's like, I think a lot of it as well is down to your choice of social media. You know, I mean, you've all got a choice of what to do, but the thing is, it's like when I used to go onto the other groups, I honestly sometimes didn't know what group I was in. I just, do you know what I mean? And it was funny because about a month ago, I was talking to someone and I said, if you don't like it, just fucking leave the group, like, you know. And the bloke said, Steve, this is Tilton Alliance. And I was like, fuck. I was in the wrong group. But, you know, it doesn't take me long to suss it out because you see stuff that we wouldn't let happen in our group. Now, I'm not criticising them for it. They do what they want in their group. You know, but I see stuff and I think that wouldn't happen in our group. So, you know, you're not in your, you know, but it is easy to not know where you are. You know, it is.
Yeah. It's funny, like, you know, it's all that started to get faction then in that sense, you know, and it shouldn't be like that. Well, you know, it's just wherever you get your content from is what they say these days, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, but I think there's something to be said for it because you know, it's like if you write content, and I know it sounds a bit shitty, like, but you can write stuff sometimes, and you put a bit of work into it. You know, people will do that, and then suddenly some fucker nicks it and puts it in their site, and you know they haven't fucking done it because they ain't fucking bright enough to. So you look at it and think, well, you ain't ripped that, pal. You know what I mean? It is annoying, and I know it's a bit petty in a way. I know it's a bit petty. I understand that. You know, but then it's like going back to all the blue stuff again, in it with, you know, what's going on behind the scene at the Blues and all this, you know. I mean, everyone knows, but no one knows, you know. I would love to have been a fly on the wall twice. Once when the decision was made to sack Rooney, and once when they interviewed Moggy.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see the conversation when Rooney was sacked between Wagner and Cook and Rooney. I would love to have heard that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, talking about still the internet and how things can catch on. I actually dipped my toe in the water with a personal message to you, and I said, there'll be no press conference until Gary Cook's black eyes have gone down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean, because I don't know if you remember, you mentioned there's an ambulance at the Henley training ground. Well, it's funny. I mean, you could write this out and like people would believe it. You go, it's funny there hasn't actually been a press conference because normally like the CEO's there with the new manager, and there hasn't been one.
That's how it all happens.
Because Gary Cook's black eyes haven't gone down when Rooney decked him, like, you know, and you could say that and it'd go viral, you know what I mean?
Right, it would be out there. But it's like, you know, that morning when I said those things, I mean, I made a point of saying at the very beginning, we're just going to tell you the sort of stuff we get, what we hear, right? So here it is. You know, there was a big bust up at the training ground. There were an ambulance turned up at the training ground, right? You put two and two together. What happened? It was a big fight between, you know. And it's sort of, you know, and then people go, yeah, but you didn't actually know that. No, so fucking, I know I said at the very beginning, it's rumours. You know.
But yeah, you know, that's how it is these.
But I would love to have known who would like said it. And I know you said that. I know when you said that, like, you know, if his black eyes gone down, I thought, that's a reference to the ambulance turning up, like,
But so get moving on to Saturday then, right?
Yeah.
How's the ticket sales gone? Do you know? Have you heard? But
I don't know. I mean, you can easily check it by just going onto the website and pretending you're buying a ticket, and it'll tell you what's left, like, you know. But I haven't actually looked. But I'll find out in the next day or two. And I was just the prices aren't. The price. It's not cheap, is it?
Well, the good, but they have brought the charity things back in, which is good.
Yeah, it is good. And I think they need to do it. They need to look at the attendances at St Andrews because it's no good to us having 10,000 empty seats.
No, absolutely not. I mean, before the Rooney sacking, sort of like, how many? It's the first Saturday game we've had since Sheffield Wednesday, isn't it?
I can't believe that. That's when we got the Justice for the 21 thing up, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Ages ago.
Saturday, 3:00. There's not really. There's less excuses not to go, shall we say? You know what I mean? I mean, I get the night games and wherever, and especially if it's a school night and work and this, that, and the other. But usually, that goes out the equation when the kickoffs at 3:00 on a Saturday.
Yeah, you've got no excuse.
Got the new manager bounce, hopefully, that seems to have gone down as a positive appointment.
Yeah,
they've already had the ticketing gone out, haven't they, at a certain price? But I just wonder, what do we need to do? You know, it's one thing saying, oh, well, yeah, just have cheap prices. I mean, the whole game, the cup replay, that's going to be dirt cheap, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the whole ticketing structure needs to be turned on its head and looked at. But this is me, like, in my sort of socialist stance, to be honest, is that, you know, some people, I know Pete, you said there's no excuse not going on Saturday afternoon unless you got no fucking food, you got no water, you got no money, you're out of work, you can't afford it, which is another reason. So I would love them. They say they want to be involved in the community. I'd love them to do some kind of scheme where people haven't got a pot to piss in, can go to the games because at the end of the day, it isn't about how much money you've got lets you support the Blues. It's where your heart is, And I think, to be a friend of mine's heavily involved at the Villa, and I was talking to him on Saturday night, and he was telling me that the Villa have a scheme where there's, I don't know, like 5,000 tickets or something that are never allocated, and they allocate them to people like that. No, I didn't go into depth because we was having a talk, like how the actual allocation works. but there must be someone within the club who could work out a kind of scheme where it would give access to games to people that couldn't normally go. Now, I know that's not going to be that many because we've only got a 30,000 seater stadium. But then when you look at it as a family, if you've got, we want to get kids involved, don't we? So if you go down with 3 young kids, you've got to be earning a fair wedge to be able to afford that, on a bi-weekly basis. I don't know how much it would cost. I know you can get into Arthur's stand isn't that expensive, I don't think. But I don't know, I just think the whole ticketing structure needs to be looked at. The other thing I'd love them to look at is with season tickets, what I'd like them to do is finance the season tickets themselves, right? They're a big company, Knighthead are massive. They could finance the season ticket upfront, sales, the repayment schemes themselves. So people don't have to go through you because so many people now have got CCJs against them. I mean, fuck me, like, you're lucky if you haven't got one, So don't make them apply for finance because they're not going to get it. But give them a season ticket for a year, let them pay back on a monthly, on a monthly payment over the length of the season in advance. And if they don't make a payment, just fucking kill the season ticket. They're all electronic, they just won't get in kind of thing, So it gives another stream of income that people look at. I'd love a season ticket. They do finance, but I know I ain't going to get finance. Fucking end of story, innit?
But do you think as well that we live in a bit of blue tinted glasses about what our fan base actually is size wise?
I don't.
No, I don't either. I know what you're saying, Pete. Those Blues fans are still there. Those Blues fans are there. They've had 10 years plus of objectivity. No wonder they ain't coming.
See, I don't know if they are there, Gaz. I don't. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because I think that, when we're at Wembley, 100,000 tickets aren't enough. But that's going back to like 50, blokes of our age when we used to go down the Blues that haven't been for 30 years. They want a ticket to see Blues at Wembley. When we've won the cup, they ain't fucking coming back again the next week. It ain't going to happen. It's just dredging back people that haven't been for years and years and years, And I mean, it might fire up the young kids if we win the odd cup and we get into Premier League. But I don't think we got this massive fan base anymore. I don't even know if we ever... we probably did in the 50s and 60s, But I don't think the gates since the 70s... We had a few 45,000s, 50,000 in the 70s, and then it just dropped away, And I think it's just... I don't know if it's money, if it's social circumstances, if it's the way the clubs run. I don't know.
I mean, I always used to think, I thought, well, any sort of success, and used to hear it when Sullivan came in and everything, and the ground wouldn't be big enough if there was any sort of success for Blues and whatever. So we go and we win the Carling Cup, right? So then the next match is against Albion at home, and we couldn't even sell that out. That's in the Premier League, that is. We couldn't sell it out. 2 weeks, this is 2 weeks after supposedly our best ever done. 2 weeks later, we got a 6th round FA Cup game against Bolton, 23,000.
Exactly what I mean. It's exactly what I mean. And I think, and to be honest with you, that ground when we was in the Premier League wasn't a sellout week in, week out. It wasn't.
The first season, yes, you could say, it was. But then it became blasé, and it weren't selling out. Absolutely not. It weren't, was it? And that's where I go on about, like, they're on about trying to build a fan base, aren't they? Sort of thing, like, And the way you build it is by getting young ones involved. The way you get young ones is to make it affordable. I mean,
that's exactly it. It would be interesting, Pete. It would be interesting to see what the say the ticket prices and options were at a club like Sunderland, who regularly sell out to 40,000 people, and they've been in the second and third tier recently.
Yeah.
So are they a different breed of person, or is their price structuring better? Are the facilities better? Do they do better things? That's what I'd be looking at if I was Knighthead. Be looking at why these clubs like Sunderland and even your Boltons, your Ipswiches were getting 25, 30,000 in the third, the now second division. So why is that happening, and why are we struggling to get 20,000 in the Championship?
What would make you? I mean, without being rude, sort of thing. Old men like me and Gaz, or whatever he's calling himself these days.
Thank you.
We ain't the future. I mean, I remember on one of these that we did. Yeah, Gaz asked the question. He says, "What would entice me back to blues?" Sort of thing. But it ain't us that needs to be enticed back. We need to grow the young uns.
Yeah, I don't know if we've missed the bus there a bit. Because
but I mean, we've missed a generation through being crap for 10 years.
Yeah, and social media plays such a big part in it. You can literally support any team you want now and watch them home and away,
you can.
week in, week out, without going out of your front door.
Yeah.
And that's obviously another thing that contributes to it. But you can't have your cake and eat it. If you want the Sky money, you've got to have Sky.
Yeah, which I refuse to have. I won't have it.
Yeah, I haven't got it.
No.
But I think, what I was saying earlier, there's got to be someone with a big enough brain at Knighthead to look at our season ticket sales and make it work right across the board for the whole community, giving everyone the opportunity to see the game. When there's going to be particularly poor attendances, and we all know when they are, that's the time to go out to the community who haven't got a pot to piss in and say, listen, and I know it looks a bit like, you know what, we don't fucking want this, so you can have it, we ain't going to watch it. But it isn't. It's giving everyone the chance to get into St Andrews and have a look and see what it's like. Some of these young kids have never probably been to a live football game, And I can remember when I was a kid, one of the biggest thrills to me was walking up to the top, up the hill to the Cop, coming over the top on a night game and seeing them lights on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the green grass, it was like, wow.
And it's like, fucking hell, out of this in the middle of Small Heath.
Yeah.
And then go and stand on the Cop, get pissed on, get knocked over, get lifted off your feet.
Start at G3 and end up at the front.
That's it, yeah.
G3 was.
But I think that, I think those are the things that would make a difference. Is to make it more, to give more people the opportunity to go and to give them an incentive to go. Obviously, the incentive to go would be if we had a good team. But another incentive to go would be to make the prices cheap enough for you to take your kids or something. Or if you haven't got a job, you can come to this game, right? Bring your UB40 or whatever it is they call it now, or buy your ticket on your UB40, and let us give you a nice little deal, get you in, come and watch the Blues, because it is hard for people.
Here's one for you. You might pie in the sky. How about sponsor a ticket? Like every time you buy a ticket, put £1 in a sponsor a ticket, and accumulate, have a little pot.
Yeah, something like that, I think Ticketmaster do that already, don't they?
I don't know.
If you buy your ticket online, they take a fucking quid off you.
Oh, I see what you mean. No, well, yeah, okay, but
they do though,
Yeah.
One of the saddest posts,
just put in a pot, when you accumulate 15 quid or something, you've got a ticket for someone, give it to someone.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
There was a lad talking about this bloke talking about he took some of his son's football team along to the games, I think it was after we'd lost to Coventry or whatever, and the kids didn't want to go, and that was the sad.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, oh, do you want to come to the football sort of thing? No.
Can we go to McDonald's?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That is sad, that is.
yeah.
Because the highlight of my week every week was going to St Andrews, you know, obviously when we were at home. And like I said, particularly like my uncle used to take me to the night games and getting into that stadium with the lights on and hearing the crowd and, you know, but
Yeah.
I mean, even later in life when you get there, you know, and the night games and like, I remember me and you guys walking up and going and going in the railway end when they was building the new cop, weren't they? We
Yeah.
walked up, we looked at it and thought, fucking hell, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's a completely different place now, isn't it, to what it was when we were kids? And it may have lost its atmosphere. It may be a lot more sterile now, you know.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, that promotion
Nights against the Villa weren't sterile.
You know, that was something else, really. That was brilliant.
Yeah, I think the West Ham game, you know, was the one as well.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that was nearly what Blues was like, you know, with 50,000 in it.
Yeah. Well, we've all been in crowd. We've all been in 50,000 crowds at St Andrews, and some kids will never ever be in a crowd that big.
No,
I can remember being a 12,000 crowd at St Andrews when Trevor Francis came back from his injury. He was playing in the reserves.
Oh right,
and
yeah.
It was his first game back, but there was 12,000 watching the reserves.
Yeah.
Francis was back.
That was against Bournemouth, and we won 4-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was mad, weren't it?
Yeah.
There weren't a programme. It was a piece of paper with the team sheet on it. Just had like Francis out, like he's back.
That's it.
Bring it back out, Trevor.
Yeah.
Mad. 12,000 at a reserve game.
I think at like Barcelona and Real Madrid, they get like fucking 50,000 turned up if they make a new signing, you know.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you know
I think we'll struggle to get sort of like say 22,000 would be optimistic Saturday. Do you think?
I think we'll get around the 20. We're playing Swansea. They ain't going to bring many, I don't think.
No.
I don't know how many. I can't remember how Swansea travel. Not that well, I don't think. And they're having a bit of a bad run at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. 20, 21, Pete, I would say. Chris,
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
I was going to say if we hit 22, I'd be absolutely over the moon. You know what I mean? It's almost
like it's crap in it because you look at Ipswich and they're getting 28, 29,000. I know they're having a good season, but Norwich get mid to high 20s. And I know, you know, that they're one-town clubs and that, you know, but we live in a city of fucking 2.5, 3 million people, you know.
Yeah.
And Villa are getting 45,000 with a 20,000 waiting list.
Yeah.
I mean, even with that,
they're travelling from Buckingham Palace and.
I mean, did you see that?
They're coming from Brum.
Says it all.
Did you see that thing about with the Punjabi Blues and the money that they'd raised with that sleepover and whatever?
Yeah, it's 11 grand, wasn't it, I think.
Yeah, you know, we could just try and aim at a community or something. I don't know. We got to do something. I mean, them seats are no good empty, are they?
No, they're not. No. I know what you mean. Like, target a group of people, you know, say, I don't know, 4 or 5 schools together and see how many tickets we need and try and raise some money for them, something like that, you know, or target a group of people, fucking, I don't know, I was going to say homeless people, I don't think they'd want to go to the Blues, you know, be the last thing on the mind, but you know what I mean, underprivileged groups, they might want it, I mean, bloody hell, if I was homeless, I'd still love the Blues.
Yeah,
I think one of the Nighthead things was targeting the student community. You know, that are like, you know, in the city, because there's a large student community, isn't there? You know, for all the universities and stuff. You know, that's
Of
With
course
the
it would, yeah. Yeah, but they're not. A lot of them are not going to be Brummies, are they?
Well, no, but I mean, it's just like targeting. Well, there might be football fans though.
Yeah,
You know,
Get a free joint as you go in. Be a different sort of like smoke thing, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? So it's a nice blue smoke flying around there.
yeah.
Free,
Well, that
free
make a nice change. I haven't smelt that since for 20 years.
And the new Bo Brummie.
yeah. Free ecstasy pill.
But I think it'd be good to try and get, like I know, like people like Pete Bevins does stuff, for the homeless, and his Thursday night trips around town are brilliant, and Pete does a great job. And we got Tony Routledge who has done all the stuff at Christmas for the kids. There's a lot of people out there that do a lot to help people, and I think it'd be good if we could just get some kind of spark of something going where we could get some people down the ground by getting them some tickets,
Yeah.
Something we can think about. And I'm sure people that are watching, for particularly anyone that's in the project on Facebook, BCFC, the project, come and give us your ideas if you've got any, because I would love something to do something like that. I would,
Yeah.
Because I think it's worthwhile, and it's giving kids something that we had that we sort of probably took for granted, It didn't cost a lot of money. All the kids at school the next day, you'd talk about it, and you'd see them at St Andrews, classmates. I mean, it just wouldn't happen now, would it?
No.
Shame the way things have moved on. But anyway, what do you think of the cup draw?
Well, it's a shit draw, isn't it? I mean, it's good because it's away, I suppose, for fans that want to travel. We're going to get 6,000 tickets, so we're going to sell them all. But it's a hard game. But with Moggy in charge, I don't know, can bring them back.
Well, I mean, I looked at some of the attendances that obviously, like Man United taking 7,000 to Wigan. I mean, it's
only down the road.
Fair trip from London, in it, but I mean, you got Preston taking 6,000 down to Chelsea. Villa took 5,000 up to Middlesbrough. You know what I mean? There was some really big attendance. Aldershot taking 6,000 or whatever to Albion.
I love that though,
We take the whole 1,900. But hopefully
you can only sell the tickets you've got though.
Yeah, we still got to beat Hull. I know that, but getting a bit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But I mean, to me, we've got a harder game than what Villa have. Villa's drew Chelsea. I watched them last night. Jesus Christ, they're shit. They are.
Where are Villa playing Chelsea at Villa Park?
Chelsea, yeah.
I mean, I didn't see the draw. I just didn't watch it.
Yeah, Chelsea lost to Middlesbrough last night.
1-0, didn't they? Yeah.
They're in serious shit, they are, aren't they? I mean, people all go on about, the Graham Potter, like, he couldn't do anything there. So then the big name manager, Maurizio Pochettino, get him in there. He can't do anything. They signed a load of people on 9-year contracts and whatever. They're in flipping 3-4, they are, Chelsea.
And they're going to be in some financial shit if they don't get it together, because those 9-year contracts ain't going nowhere for 9 years,
No.
Exactly, yeah.
Like us with our 5-year contracts that Harry Redknapp so readily gave out. We just get the last few of them now,
Yeah.
And the transfer window is going to be interesting because there's not a lot we can do. I was talking about it in the project today, and it's like, if we want to buy anyone, really, we've seriously got to sell one or two big money names. So, you've got to get the likes of JJ or, Buchanan, these sort of players, Dembele. And someone was saying, so you can't sell them, they're your best players. But that's the Knighthead idea, is to we paid 750, I think, for Dembele, 8,000 for Buchanan. So there's a joint sale of 1.5 million there. Now, to my reckoning, in today's market, both of them are worth 5 million, particularly Buchanan.
Yeah.
So let's say Dembele's worth 3. You got 8 million for those two players. Now, we spent a total of 6 million in the summer, and we bought in 6 million.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there, with those two players there, if we sold 1 for 5, 1 for 3, we've got 8 million. That theoretically, if we do the same kind of business, could bring in 8 players.
Yeah.
But the recruitment's got to be right.
Yeah. Yeah. I, just a point on that, really, Steve. I would be very, very surprised if Mowbray lets anybody go at the moment, because I think he can get a tune out of this squad if we can keep a lot of them fit and get the unfit players back. I think he can get a tune out of them, and for him, it would be if it doesn't go right, it'll be they ain't my players, But I think he can get a tune out of some of them, particularly Scott Hogan.
I'd like to know what, exactly what the conversation around that was with them, because I will have had that conversation. Because ideally for Blues, obviously, we don't spend anything in this window.
No.
And probably even sell JJ if he wants to go. If he wants to go, we don't know the situation. But if he's been given a really good offer, apparently he's been offered 750,000 a year. 19-year-old, it's great money.
Yeah.
He's going to play abroad.
Yeah.
We get 5 million for him. It's in the bank. So when summer comes, you're going to have a nice wedge of money to spend, because FFP has gone then.
Yeah. It depends if the player does want to go.
And that's the same thing, though. Like Pete was saying, that someone will come in for Hogan. They can only come in for them if they want to go. It's like Hogan's got 6 months on his contract, and then he's a free agent.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a no-brainer to me. Keep what you've got. For me,
what do you think, Pete?
Yeah, I just found it interesting that the little bits sort of like that's come out with Mowbray having a word with Hogan and this the other. You know what I mean?
Perhaps he was only talking to him.
Yeah, I know, but why release that bit?
Because they want to sell fucking newspapers or whatever.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
He was probably saying to him, "How are you, son? What did you have for breakfast?" He's probably going, "Oh, boss, I had some lovely eggs and dippy fingers."
Yeah.
So what he's saying, "Come on, son, you can do it."
Yeah, or
I missed them there.
Yeah, it's just, I've got faith in everybody, but you're not one of them, mate. So, but I mean, we don't know, do we? It's just all speculation. But be interesting. For one thing, though, whatever team he picks for Saturday, you'll have somebody moan about it.
Of course, you will. Particularly if we lose.
Yeah.
Because I looked at the performance last Saturday against Hull, and to be honest with you, I thought it was pretty fucking drab performance. It was very, very Eustace-esque, wasn't it? And it wasn't. It was very defensive. It was structured to not concede a goal, structured to get a defence confident. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
People were talking about it the next day as if it was fucking Brazil, I mean, we didn't play them off the park by any stretch of the imagination. We were just compact and we did a job. And to be honest, we were lucky not to win. But,
It went a defeat, Steve. That's the thing. The way
it was Steve Spooner. You can't expect Spooner to do too much in one game, and obviously Mowbray's going to have a completely different outlook.
Yeah. It went a defeat. And it's it's nice. It's nice not to lose for once.
Yeah, especially away from home. Yeah.
And it's quite funny about going back to basics. You play Djukovic, you get somebody to put a cross in for him. It's not it's not that difficult.
Not rocket science.
Because he ain't any good unless you're getting crosses into him, are you? Yeah, I mean all that, the amount of game time that he had under Rooney and whatever, he got more than I actually thought that he would get, to be fair. But he was a passenger, weren't he, in that system we were trying to play?
Well, they were playing him to hold the ball up, And to be fair to Rooney, a lot of people were like having a go at him for playing players like Burke and that, you know. And I know Burke has been, you know, a bit of a disaster really, but he was playing him, Pete, because we had no height in that. We had no height up front at all. Nothing. Stansfield's the biggest at about 5'10", and then what happens? You know, you get them banging the long balls up, and every single one of them is coming straight back because you haven't got a Djukovic or a Burke, so he would play one or the other. You could guarantee one or the other would play. And a couple of weeks ago, we didn't play any of them. I forget who we played, and we got well beaten. I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. He dropped Burke, no Djukovic. We were small team.
Yeah.
And then, you know, from corners then, and there was no Bielik. So we lost, there was no height there other than Sanderson and Abe, who's not the biggest in the world. They've got no height in the team at all. You know, and you've got to look at that and think, all right, you're playing on the ground. It's not important, but we always revert to the long high ball. You know, it happens.
Well, we'll see, won't we? We'll see under Mowbray. We'll see.
I think we've got to call it a day because people, we've done nearly an hour and a half anyway. So what was I saying? Yeah. But we do honestly try to keep these as short as we can, guys, because we do try, but we just talk too much shite, don't we?
Trust me, there's a bit more shite I could have talked.
I know, Pete. You're the fucking worst defender, mate. And especially, it always worries me if I see like a bag of props.
Yeah, I'm trying to be sensible tonight, mate.
Well,
what's that?
I got my bag ready. Look,
what is it?
Various tickets and things.
Oh, I thought it was like you. What's it? Your sex change application form?
No. It's all Blues related.
Can you get it done on the NHS or do you have to go private?
I don't know. I'm, like I said, I'm just trying it out for a month first before I make any final decisions about which way.
Definitely. What's your missus think about it?
What, my husband?
Huh? My husband. you know what, though? You know this. A lot of people are turned off by now, right? Because they only watch it for about 15 minutes and they're all going to be going, you know, that geezer on the project, you know, the one on the podcast, he's having a fucking sex change.
And he loves revels.
Yeah, you're going to get a big post bag. Or a big bag of some sort.
Revels.
You'll know what revels are.
Right. Anyway, I've got to clear off now then. So
nice one, Pete, for taking the initiative.
Yeah, nice to see everybody.
Yeah,
great to see you, and great to see Fritz.
Yeah. We can do a show and tell next week. Yeah.
All right.
We will next week. We'll do a little show and tell. All right. We're going to talk about football occasionally. All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got to spoil it somewhere, ain't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, mate. Gaz, cheers, mate, and thank you for everyone for watching. And we'll see you soon. See you guys. Thank you.